Hey guys, can y'all hear me? I forgot to turn my microphone on. Hope everybody is doing good today. And don't forget, like the banner scrolling across the bottom of the screen, don't forget to pray for all the people that were affected by the incident the other day. I am finally getting most of my kids in the house all at once for the first time in a long time. That is something special, Tina. I do agree. It takes an act of Congress to get all mine together, so I do understand what you're talking about. I'm hoping that maybe we're going to have um, Common Sense is going to join us, hopefully, on panel tonight because No Filter is otherwise occupied at this point in time. Hello, Auntie M, Shalima, Rhonda Moon, BBE. For all of my mods, Charlie K said there's trolls out big time. So for my mods, can y'all please keep an extra eye open? We're going to wait a little while and let a few people get in here. Hello, Angie Styles. Selena, hello. Um, we're going to be going over what I talked about in the video yesterday, which is all the little things that we seem to have overlooked because we were studying on the big picture at hand, which was summer was missing and law enforcement wasn't acting as quickly as we wanted them to. And we seem to have overlooked some of the things that they were actually saying, and we didn't hear them. Or I know I didn't, anyways. Yeah. Well, all the stuff that I'm going to be talking about tonight, guys, is found in the videos that's out there on YouTube right now. The TBI and the LE updates that they did. I just happened to run across the statement and thought, wait a minute. And I went back and rewatched most of all of them and was looking for specific things that, like I said, we didn't hear. Hello, Sandy. How are you? And we're giving it a few minutes for people to get in here, guys. Is there anybody from down there in Texas next to where that happened? My heart just breaks for those families, for everybody involved. Hello, Izzy Rose. It's okay to be tired, and it's okay just to be here. That's fine, hun. Exactly, Charlie K. You're in Odessa. Is that close to that town? I don't know a whole lot about Texas, so you mean on the summer case? I don't know. I've not heard that they were supposed to be. I'm just trying to keep her name out there, trying to keep the prayers going, guys, and try to bring a little peace to everybody's minds and hearts. Yes, they are, Selena. I agree 100%. My oldest son called me up today worrying because although the kids here are out of school for the summer, his little girl starts first grade tomorrow, so she's still got all of school, all of her school career left to go. Now, my other grandkids are all in high school now, so. We've got 42 people in chat, guys. Unless I was dreaming, they are supposed to deliver another presser. Really, I had not heard anything about it, Sandy. I'm glad you brought it to my attention. Did anybody go and watch that video I did yesterday about where Ronnie Lawson says that they have found stuff, but they haven't found per se the nail that goes in the coffin? Thank you, Charlie. Yes, everybody hit the thumbs up. It helps, guys. It really does. We're going to give it about 4 more minutes, and that'll take us into 10 minutes in, and then we'll start talking. Okay, guys? You watched the press conference, Shalima? So they've already had one today? I don't see one. I looked, I don't see it anywhere. Thank you, McBro. Do they still think the whales were moving her? Honey, I honestly don't think they ever thought that. Now, I'm not saying that the creator that put that out there was wrong, but I remember hearing the original conversation, and I remember hearing when she played it on her show, and I'm telling you, they were discussing the fact that that's why they didn't want to tell people where they were looking or where they had already looked, because just in case somebody had hidden her, they didn't want them to say, okay, well, they've already checked this spot, so let me take the body and go hide it over there. That's why they were discussing that. I don't think they actually found her. I don't think anybody was actually moving her around. Thank you, Charlie. If they do a press release, will you please go live? If I can catch it, I don't have a problem with going live and showing it. If somebody will let me know. Hello, Miss Christola. I'm so glad to see you here. Didn't EquiSearch said they think she's being... No, that's what I was talking about. It was a phone conversation, or a conversation between Dave Rader and Duty Ron. And they were discussing why they did not want to let people know where they had already searched and where they were going to search, is so they wouldn't have the opportunity to move the body from one place to another. Hello, Nish. Glad to see you in here today. You're welcome, sweetheart. Automatic. Yeah. Only, yes. Actually, that's something else I did want to get started on. I wanted to start discussing. When I was talking with No Filter today, I think the best thing, with all that aside, what's on the screen right now, put all that aside. I think somebody needs to get a petition going, or get the program going, where parents of students have to have a hard copy ID with their picture, the school, the student's picture, all the information, where they have to key in to get in the front door. Because how are these people actually getting in the front door? All the schools here where I'm at, they have security. You have to be buzzed in. So how are these people getting in, except they're buzzing and the people are just letting them in the front door? If they had a They can do it with your money. They can do it with everything. Why can't they have a key card with your picture, the child's picture, the school on it, where you have to actually key yourself into the school, or at least show it before you're allowed to enter the school? Would that not help keep some of this stuff down? And if you're an authorized person to pick the child up, then that person would have an ID also. Well, see, if they would keep all the doors locked and the only way to get in would be to be buzzed in with that ID, that would work. Or it would help anyways. Exactly. It was an unlocked door. And that's ridiculous. This is our future. These are our kids. There's got to be a way to keep them safer than what we're doing now. Sometimes the people that take out the garbage and stuff go through a door. Maybe sometimes they keep it open. Just saying. Well, I tell you what, in certain businesses, you have to have that key card to be able to get in and out the door. So if the parents have to have it, the staff would have to have a key card too. And the door would shut automatically. Look at Christola. Thank you, Christola. I heard that we came in through a side door, so this is only hearsay. Right, I understand. Of course, there's all kinds of hearsay been going on. We don't know for sure. We weren't there. We may never know. Right, and well, no filter and I were discussing the fact that maybe you should have to take classes or get get certified through a mental health facility before you're allowed to have one. I'm trying not to say those words, guys. I agree that those types of people shouldn't have access. No, they shouldn't. I can walk into any school in my local community and walk straight through it without question, but I live in a very tiny town, which doesn't seem to matter anymore. Well, the thing about that is I probably live in a smaller town than you. And I'm telling you, you have to be buzzed into the school where my grandkids all go to school. And it's a very small school. At my youngest school, you go through a door and glass, show ID, then go into another door. See, that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. That's what needs to happen everywhere. Guys, I'm not reading these out loud because of the subject, and we're not allowed to discuss that stuff. I mean, I'm not allowed to say it. So that's why I'm not reading them all out. Custodians use the side door, back door for garbage. I was custodian in New York. Right. But if they had to have a key card to get in and out, just like you do at motels, then that would help slow the process down anyways. Exactly. They sure are, Selena. I agree 100%. Remember, we can take away those, but they could find something else like, right. I agree. But at least it would slow it down, Charlie. I'm not saying that those should be took away, but they certain types should be taken away from people. There is no reason that anybody should have more than what something that you would need to protect yourself or to kill for food. And Lord, I just said that word. I didn't mean to say that word. Something to use for obtaining food or something to protect yourself, and it doesn't have to be a high powered nothing. I think it's the school board doesn't have funds for good golly. They find the funds for sports. Exactly. Right. I'm just saying, if everybody that needed to be inside that school or any school for that matter, had a hard copy ID, like a driver's license with picture, the school, the student, that kind of thing on there to prove you are exactly who you're supposed to be. And they have to show it before they can buzz in the school, no matter what door, it would slow it down. I'm sorry, but if you need that will not be able to eat it. Exactly. Well, that's what I just didn't want to say those words, Auntie M or Kathy S. Sorry. That's what I'm saying. You just need the good old fashioned kind that they used to use back in the early 1900s, before anything that was automatic came along. Exactly. Country people know how to shop at God's grocery store. It's free and no antibiotics. That's true. Hello, Corey. Hello, everybody that I've not seen come in. I'm glad you guys are here. They should have fencing around the schools, cameras, and then key cards to get in. Right. It's going to have to get to that point where they're going to have to do that. Had a live half hour ago. Who did? Oh, six on ABC. Okay. If you need that, you're not a very good hunter. Yeah, that's true. Thank you. Yes, your favorite drink, your favorite food, and your favorite song, guys. For anybody new coming in. Yeah, I seen that on the news conference today. Okay, guys. Like I said, um, did you all watch the video I did yesterday? Who all knew that they supposedly have found evidence about Summer? Just not the right evidence to nail the case. Does anybody remember seeing Ronnie Lawson say that? Because I never caught it the first time around, or the second time around I watched it. Or the fact that Leslie Earhart says that the now we know that there was only 3 people received polygraph tests, and Leslie Earhart plainly states that the polygraph tests are being used as a tool in the investigation. And when I was watching them today, I was going over it. They were calling it an investigation the very next morning, right after they put the Amber Alert out. And that's one of the reasons they put the Amber Alert out. Right, that's me. I heard it, probably heard it, didn't pay one bit of attention to it because we were too worried about the bigger picture. Summer's gone. Nobody's doing what we thought they should be doing. They're not, doing what they're supposed to be doing. And maybe they actually knew what was up. I don't know why they still haven't arrested Candace over it, but maybe they were already doing things that we didn't know about. It was the first time you'd heard about it? Well, yeah. And on June 17th in the news conference, too, the timestamp on that one was 3:44. Leslie Earhart said that they already believed that she was not taken, that it was already under investigation at that point in time. They already knew that there was, she didn't say this part, but they did already know that there was foul play. And that was on the 17th. And something else I wanted to point out too. That was what got me started in this, because I was looking for information about, because I remember Ronnie Lawson sitting there saying that somebody had asked him about when she actually went missing. And he's like, oh, well, it was earlier in the day, but the parents spent time looking for her, and then they called 911. Well, then later on, I mean, the 911 dispatch call that we have that's out plainly states the mother said she was gone for 10 minutes and came straight back and called 911. That the baby had only been gone for 10 minutes. Well, then why is Ronnie Lawson coming out saying that she had already been gone for hours? Hi, Common. Are you coming up? Holly, are you going to come up? I'm going to drop the link for you, hon, if you want to come up. I promise it's the right link this time. Like EquiSearch video, I heard they wanted her moved anymore, and I was told I misunderstood, but now I think I heard it right. I don't know, honey. Like I said, I thought I could have swore they were talking about that's why they didn't want to tell people where they were searching, is because in case somebody was hiding her. But now, like Tim Coop on the 21st of June was talking about that people needed to watch where they're mowing their grass and stuff, and that the fields they were searching in were somewhere that somebody could hide her body. Hi, Holly.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you tonight, hon?
I'm good. What are you talking about?
Just the different things in the news conferences that have come out that nobody ever paid any attention to, should I say, that I was telling you about last night or the other night.
Yeah, I watched your video. That was good. Good. I didn't catch that.
Yeah, I didn't catch hardly any of it either. You know, not the first time around. You're always just you're concentrated on Summer being gone, right, and what they're not doing.
Right.
But
something I've been doing research on today when I have time during work. I was looking at some information about the searches for Summer, like just in the first days of it.
Right.
My question is, when I compare this to Carly Trent's case, Carly Trent, they had volunteers, people who lived in the community who just wanted to help. They allowed them to search wherever,
yes, they did.
Whenever. And with Summer, they said you had to clear it. If you wanted to search somewhere, you had to clear it with Ronnie Lawson, with Hawkins County Sheriff's Department. So I'm like, why would that be any different? What's the difference?
I don't know. I've been pointing that out from the get-go. This is the only case, and granted, I mean, it's not like I know all the cases that's ever been happened, but this is the only case I've ever known of that not once is any of the public allowed to search. If you are not under Ronnie Lawson's control, you are not allowed to look for this child.
That is so strange to me. I mean, that really sticks out to me. I think it does to you too.
Oh, yeah. It really does. And I mean, I hadn't really thought about it until Michelle Walks, or, you know, the one I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
She did a story on that little boy up in Nova Scotia that was missing.
Uh-huh.
And even after the law enforcement had stopped the search looking for him, it was talking about the town still searched weeks and weeks and weeks afterwards.
Right.
And I'm thinking, wait a minute. Shouldn't we be doing that for Summer?
Yeah.
But Ronnie Lawson has never allowed anybody to look for her, ever.
Right.
And that was weird.
The only similarities between the two that I see are that Ronnie Lawson said in both cases for people to check their property and their outbuildings. But beyond that, he has handled these cases completely differently.
Right. And they're only 4 years apart?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I've thought it was strange from the get-go.
Another thing I found out, and you probably already know this because you're so well informed, but they didn't put up a roadblock until 8 days after she went missing.
Right. Well, they put up, they were stopping traffic, should I say, at the bottom of Ben Hill and Beach Creek. They were stopping traffic, asking, have you seen her?
But no, saying, did you see anything on June 15th?
Right, but they never put up a roadblock to search for the cars. And I learned something today. I did not know that Jody Sue was allowed to leave that evening to go out and get her kids something to eat, and they never searched her vehicle.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm not a Jody Sue basher. I'm not coming on here throwing any stones. I'm just saying that's something I found out today and did not know it.
Where'd you find that out from?
Oh, Lord, I don't know if it was in one of my comments or if it was on another comment somewhere. But it was in a comment somewhere. It wasn't on a video or anything like that.
Okay.
So, I mean, I can't even verify that this is the truth, but I'm just saying there was a lot of things that they should have done, or I feel they should have done that they didn't do.
Right. Well, I remember you saying all these mysterious deaths that happened in Hawkins County too.
Yes.
And I found the news report about the woman. It was, I think, in 2020, maybe, where she was found in a sewage pond.
Yes, the overflow from the sewage, the septic tank. Yes.
Right. And so they said that they didn't suspect foul play, one news article said that they thought she drowned, but she's not going to swim in a septic pond.
Exactly. How can they not how can they not think that there was some kind of foul play? She was in a septic tank.
No, that's disgusting. Like, she was just taking her, her nightly swim in the sewage.
Exactly.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Did you ever find the guy that disappeared out of the back of the cop car and then turned up a year later?
No, I'm still looking for that.
I will try to get a hold of Lip Lock no more. She can tell you about it. His name is Jason. I'm telling you.
Okay.
Because that's where I heard about it. Because she does not like Ronnie Lawson at all. Lip Lock does not. And she was going off telling that story one day, and I looked it up.
Well, there was another guy that they found. Oh, I hope I can remember. They found his body burned.
Oh, wow. Noah.
They found a guy somebody had murdered, and 2 people are in jail for it now. But his body was found, and they had tried to burn it. And it was like the day after Summer went missing last year.
That may have been the Jason guy.
Okay. So that was really last year too, then.
That may have been, yeah.
Okay. But I think it makes me suspicious. Any murder that takes place around the time that she got missing could be involved somehow. Right. With the whole situation. I don't know, but I just found that interesting that it happened when it did.
And I'll say I'm just throwing this out there just to give people something to gossip about, okay? Just for the heck of it. And this is allegedly not any truth to it, nothing. I want to get that clear. How do we know that Jose passed away? Did anybody see a death certificate? And do we know that he didn't go into witness protection?
We don't know that. You're right.
I mean,
I had not thought of that. That is awesome. That is
seriously
awesome that you thought of that. No, I mean, it could be. It could be a faked death because he testified.
May have known something. Yeah, he may have known something, and they needed to. I mean, I'm sorry, but it's a possibility. It is. His death came out of nowhere. Absolutely nowhere.
And they said, people who knew him said he had just gotten a new job. He was doing better mentally and emotionally, and didn't understand why, if it were that he took his own life, why he would do that now. So that's another thing right there.
Exactly.
That's interesting. I mean, I think it's definitely a possibility. I don't think it's that far of a reach that that this could have happened.
I mean, the whole case is just, like UFO crazy out here. Anyways, the whole case.
Oh, I know. And there has to be like, there's all this stuff going on within the case that feels like maybe people are scared to talk or, to come forward. And
Right.
it's just a mess. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my lifetime with Summer's case. And, I say Dawn and Candace aren't that smart. I mean, they're just country people, just
Right.
and a lot of drug and alcohol use that probably has affected their minds as far as how sharp they are. How could they pull this off? I think the answer is there were more people involved.
Exactly. Yeah. And Izzy Rose, I understand where you're coming from about there's more than one creator talk to a sister, but if you will look at it, and granted, I don't know that much about witness protection, but if all the movies you've ever watched, they plainly tell you when you go into witness protection, you lose all contact with anybody you've ever known. Wow. Everybody has to believe that you're passed away.
Oh my goodness.
So the sister may actually believe that he's gone. I mean, just a thought.
Yep. It's a possibility. How deep does this thing run? Like, it just seems like if it wasn't just something, say Candace was abusing her and abused her too hard and she died, or CPS was coming, so they got rid of her that way. It just seems like that would have been solved within a few months after she went missing. It's more complicated than that. It has to be.
Right. Yeah. Well, like I've said before, the plain and simple fact is, unless there was an abduction by a total stranger that nobody knew.
Right.
That's the only way that Dawn and Candace aren't guilty. They are guilty in no matter what happened to her, where she was took, who took her, unless it was an absolute stranger who nobody knew anything about. Dawn and Candace are guilty because either they have knowledge of where she's at, who took her, or if some accident actually happened where it was an accidental, accident that took her, where's the body?
Well, I have to say I've never believed the accident theory, and here's why. I think the fact that we know CPS was there right before and they were coming back, that much we do know. I don't know exactly when they were coming back, but we know they came before she was already in their investigation. I think it's not a coincidence that she got gone in between CPS visits. I think they knew, Don himself has said, I'm going to get 20 years and it'll be a felony if something about, I can't
because she's under the age of 8.
Right.
And if something happens to a child in Tennessee under the age of 8, any kind of abuse, especially abuse like that, it is considered a felony.
Right.
And if he caught another felony, he was going to get 25 to life.
Yeah. And I think that's why they did it. And they also knew she was going to be starting school. And, I've heard it said Candace wanted to get rid of her before school because they're going to be looking at her bruises and, just everything. And those are mandated reporters that she would be around every day. That wasn't going to work out for them.
Sorry, Christola. It is common sense true crime, honey. Her name is Holly. If you don't have her her link, I've got it. Because I wasn't for sure if you were going to make it today or not. And sorry, guys, I've not been catching all the comments and putting them up here. But yeah, I mean, do you know of anything that I'm missing that maybe, I know I haven't went over my notes, but have you caught anything that maybe, like the fact that Tim Coop was saying that they not only needed to search in Hawkins County, they needed to search Sullivan County.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, Ronnie Lawson said that he explained, like in the first or second day, that Hawkins County LE is over the case. If it goes outside the county, that's why they brought TBI in. If they thought it went out of the county, they
Okay.
would bring TBI in. If they thought it went out of the state, that's why they bring FBI in.
Right.
FBI and TBI was brought in the first on the 16th of June.
Right. Right. Exactly. Well, you know, they thought they had a big deal happen with Carly Trent in the week she was gone. They thought she was spotted in Missouri and in Idaho.
Right.
But of course, she was just at the back door. And what I don't get is, you know, everybody got to be heroes and find her. Where's Summer's hero? You know,
exactly.
Who's out there looking like they did for her? And I mean, maybe it's just because it was only a week that she was missing, but it looks to me, everything I can find looks like they're very funny and weird about who can search.
Well, you also have to remember, allegedly, it was Ronnie Lawson's brother who found her on his own property, allegedly.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, he didn't have to look too hard. And if you'll listen to the 911 dispatch calls for when they found her, I forgot to mention this the other day. There's 3 different roads that is given that they supposedly found her on.
That's right. I saw that. It contradicted. First they said one place and then they said another.
Yes, well, there's actually 3 in all. It's where they said they found her.
I wish somebody in Hawkins County, like, you know, Ansley Daniels, I wish she would investigate some things. Why not go and find Gary Simpson, who supposedly kidnapped Carly, and go talk to him? Has any newspaper asked him what his motive for this was? Not that I know of.
Just that one time in court when they asked him, you know, did he understand his charges? And he's like, no, I was just trying to protect her.
I know. And
nobody asked him, protect her from what or who?
I know. I think it was a setup on him. Why wouldn't we want to know his motive? Why wouldn't that be one of the first questions? Hey, we caught this guy. He's a bad dude. You know, why did you take Carly? We don't get to hear that. Nobody's asking that question. Because maybe he would say, because her dad told me, go pick her up and keep her safe for a while or so. I think he was told something different and he was the fall guy somehow.
Right. I believe so too. 100%.
Yeah. That's sad. And then they also, remember you told me, and I remembered this too, that at first they said she hadn't been sexually assaulted, but now he's got a SA charge.
Right. Right. Crazy. Absolutely. And I just, in that news briefing, and now I can't find that specific news briefing, they plainly said, it was right after they found her, that she has been seen by a doctor. She was okay, a little shaken up, but that was it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when he goes to court, he's, you know, convicted of SAing her and kidnapping. And also it bothers me that the simple fact is, why would the state of Tennessee allow him to have joint custody with his wife of these children if, like they said while she was gone, oh, he's an RO. He's an RO. Yeah. Well, wouldn't they have found that before they gave him custody of the child?
I would think so. There's another question.
I just think there's something funny going on.
If you watch the news videos from when she was found, and there was like a party with all the quote unquote heroes who found her, including Ronnie Lawson, the whole thing just feels like it's fake. Everybody's just like, yeah, you know, I'm not saying you shouldn't be happy that you found a girl that was missing, but the whole thing just, you know, I told you, like, I just get a real vibe off things sometimes. Right. And the first time I watched that, I didn't know anything about the Carly Trent case. And I thought, this is ew. Like, they were just, oh, she's great. She's happy. Her dad was like, she's just the same little girl she was before she went missing.
And you got to remember who was one of the people that was in there celebrating with his $10,000 that he donated to the Carly Trent Reward Fund. But the good old pediatrician himself, who is now supposed to be sitting in jail because he RO'd or SA'd kids in his own home.
I know. I'm telling you, I think the whole, like, I got some statistics today that said Hawkins County is in the 14th percentile for safety in
Mm-hmm.
the US, meaning 86% of other counties are safer than Hawkins County.
Right.
I don't know. There's a
I
lot of
agree.
crime. There's a lot of drugs and a lot of crime. And I mean, drugs and sex trafficking go together.
Yes.
A lot of the time, you traffic one, you traffic the other. It's all about the money.
Well, didn't they announce yesterday they've got a 16-year-old girl now that's missing in Hawkins County? And
Yeah.
Ronnie Lawson is begging the public to help search for her.
Oh, Lord. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't.
I mean, don't that, just.
Well, I think what Hawkins County would say is, we don't want, or what I read was like, we don't want young people, searching and then you hit somebody's private property and then you're trespassing. Well, they didn't mind that when Carly was missing. Nobody
Right.
said a word about that.
I agree.
Just doesn't add up. Like what you pointed out about Tim, is it Tim Coop?
Yes, he's hang on a second. I don't want to mess this up. He is the Churchill Rescue Squad. He's the guy in charge of Churchill Rescue Squad.
Okay. Yeah.
Search and rescue, yeah.
The way he stated it, it sounds like, it just sounds like they know. It sounds just like they know that she wasn't alive at that point. And that's why they're treating this so differently.
Well, just like I said the other night, Tim Coop himself, when he's talking about that open field, he said there's lots of places that things could be hidden, that she could be hidden, and the evidence could be hidden. Now, if he was thinking that she went there and something happened to her, he would have said there would have been a lot of places she could be hiding.
Yeah.
But he didn't.
Yeah,
he said she could have been hidden. That means somebody else did it.
Right. And that would, from that you would get that they think she's deceased.
Correct. Exactly.
I noticed something else a little bit new, making a video, listening to the first interview with Candace and Dawn again. There's so much in that interview that just even the little body language and stuff, if you really go back and watch it closely, again and again, you pick up new things almost every time. And I picked up that Don said about Summer, he said, I hope she gets to come home. Now think about if that was your kid, is that how you would put it? I'd be like, I hope she gets away from whoever grabbed her. I don't know. It just hit me wrong. Like, I hope she gets to come home.
Oh, I would be saying, I wished, or I hope I get to find him. I hope I get to put my hands on him.
I know. And I have also thrown around the theory that they may have passed their polygraph, because when they say somebody came and abducted her, they may have set up the abduction. If they sold her, they may have, said, hey,
arranged it. Yeah,
exactly. And then when they're saying that, they're telling the truth. Somebody came, somebody abducted her. But,
Holly, I did a video it's been a while back, and it was about the Nancy Grace show and a woman. There was a psychic on there. And yes, everybody knows how I feel about psychics, but there was a psychic on there.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a woman who had been, met her demise by the hands of somebody else. And the cops, it was the man upstairs. The cops went up there. They interviewed him. They asked him questions. He passed the polygraph test. They said, okay, well, he's cleared. Well, this psychic comes in because the family calls her. She comes in. Mm-hmm. And she just gets to the apartment where the girl lived. And she's like, okay, I'm telling you, it's the guy upstairs. They're like, no, we've done cleared him. She's like, I'm telling you, you go upstairs, you look at his belt buckle, you look at the scar on his face. If you see those two things, then you listen to me. If you don't see them, then I'll go home and won't ever bother you again. They
Uh-huh.
went up there and they saw those two things. They took that man back in for another polygraph. What happened was they were asking him because they thought the woman had died at like 11:30.
Okay.
And they asked him in the polygraph, where were you at 11:30? He said at the grocery store. He was. He
Yeah.
passed it. She actually
Oh,
died
wow.
at 3. So
Oh my gosh.
when they redid the polygraph, they asked him about the 3:30 timeline, and he failed it, and then he confessed that he had done
Wow.
it.
Yeah. So it's almost like you can trick it that way. Like
Yes.
if you manipulate the situation where, and when we say she was abducted, it comes across truthful because we set up the abduction.
Right.
But I have always heard that they both passed their polygraphs, both
Well,
Candace and Dawn, but never that Grandis has.
Candace took 3 of them. I've never heard tell of them giving you a polygraph until you pass it either.
Is that what they did? Because it
Well,
was inconclusive, the first one at
right.
least.
Well, that's what I started to say. The first one was supposedly inconclusive because she was so upset because they grabbed her. The law enforcement grabbed her and shoved her into the cop car like she was guilty and took
Yeah.
her to the station. And she was so upset by that she was too upset to take the test.
Right. Right. That's what they
The,
said.
the
Hmm.
second one was inconclusive. And then the third one, she passed, supposedly.
Okay. Yeah, I would imagine all 3 times she was under the influence of something. I
Oh,
mean,
I
she always
guarantee it.
is. I didn't think you could, if they detected that you were on a substance that they could get accurate results. But I
They
don't know.
don't they trust your word. They do not test you.
Really? Oh
I've had them
God.
done twice, trust me. And the first one I ever had done was in a murder trial.
Wow.
My mother-in-law was murdered. So
Oh my goodness.
everybody had to take polygraph tests.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why I know that if you're on any kind of um, mind altering drugs, like you're on for depression, nerves, anything like that, they won't even bother giving you a test
Right.
because it will be messed up.
Right. Right.
And during my research, there's one particular drug out there, and I believe I may be incorrect, but if I remember right, it's given to people for, I think, back pain,
Uh-huh.
and you can take that, and it will give a false positive or negative on the polygraph. And who do we know that has lots of pain that lives up there that might
Yeah.
have back pain?
Oh yeah. Was it Neurontin? Is that the name of the medicine?
No, well, it only gave the scientific name for it. I don't know
Okay.
what drug it's actually found in, but it
Okay.
gave the chemical part of the name.
Okay. I just saw a comment from Remain Calm. She
Uh
said
huh.
Dave Rader from Equisearch said that he believed Tim Coop was doing a great job in combining all searchers looking for Summer. Um, I don't believe all the searchers were volunteers, though. I think it was volunteers, but it was like the rescue squad and fire department
It
and
was
stuff like.
volunteers, but they were getting paid by the organization that they worked for.
Right. And then also I found out that the second or third search that Equisearch did, that Hawkins County Sheriff got really upset because they felt like that Equisearch didn't come back and give them enough information about what was found or not found. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that. As
Yeah.
far as I knew, they were only allowed to search twice. And then
Yeah,
Ronnie Lawson said they couldn't come back no more.
exactly. And I think the reason he said that was because they didn't give them the information they wanted about where they had searched and um, what exactly they had found. And I think that's why Ronnie was like, "No, you're not, coming back." But makes me wonder about Equisearch and what they think happened.
Right.
I've always listened to Dave Rader, and I get the feeling that because he has said there are 3 people who know what happened to Summer. He's come out and said that. So it makes me think that he also suspects the family.
Right. Country Girl says, Nana's Angels, I heard somewhere when the lie detector test story first came out that Don Wells fell asleep during it. Believe I heard him himself on a creator's trying to make up excuses why. Wow. So he probably was on medication too.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure they had heard, hey, if you'll take, I've heard Xanax is a big one that will alter a lie detector test as well.
Right. And they give Xanax for back muscle spasms, back pain.
Yeah.
Christola says gabapentin isn't looked for in a drug test.
Okay. That's the same thing as Neurontin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's a nerve medicine. That's why it made me think, would it slow down the heart, the nerves, and all of that whole system? But probably not. That's probably not right.
Dave was just being nice. Let's see. Honestly, would you all want Don and Candace out helping look for Summer in the condition they were in? Well, no, but they could have at least made the effort. And as far as that's, people said, well, we don't want locals looking because they could be involved. They might hide evidence or something. But if you have 5 people that are local and 5 people that are from another county, whatever, and there are 10 people together out there looking, it's not like one person's going to be picking something up and stick it in the rocket without everybody else noticing what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So at least Don and Candace could have been out there making the effort to look for their own child.
Well, here's the question for you. Do you think law enforcement brought her a bottle of alcohol like Don said?
That I don't know. And out of all the things that Ellie has not told us, because they can't tell us everything they know, it seems to me that if that wasn't true, they would have at least come out and said, hey, he's lying. That's not true.
Right. Yeah.
Can you imagine an officer, and it was supposed to have been that very night, went out to, why did a cop have a 5th of liquor in the trunk of his car?
It's probably not true. What would Don's motivation be for even saying that, though?
Well, honey, I don't know. First, he said that there wasn't no cops there when he got there, and then interview 2 days later, he's like, yeah, there was one cop there when I got there. And I mean, he changed his story so many times, it was unreal.
I know. Oh my gosh. You know what I've forgotten? I mean, he's going to get out pretty soon.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, no. He still has to be able to go into rehab, and he has to stay in rehab for 6 months also. And he cannot get out of jail until he has rehab set up. You cannot set up rehab until you have it paid for.
Oh,
Either you get a grant and it is paid for through the state, or you have to pay out of pocket. And that's a lot of money. But he has to spend, when he gets released, he has to go straight into rehab and stay 6 months.
Well, that's good though.
Yes.
That's good.
So people thinking that he's getting out soon. No, he's not. He's still got to do his 6 months, unless the new thing coming out is he's not even actually in jail right now. He's in witness protection. So, or sleeping in the back of Ronnie's office. I mean, I think that's what came up today.
Yeah, they're probably having slumber parties in Ronnie's office.
They may be.
Oh,
I don't know anybody else that gets the sheriff to escort them in the courtroom and patting them on the back and whispering in their ears.
I know.
Don Wells sure did, though.
Oh gosh, that's insane. Where did the rumor come that they were related? Is that
I knew that was coming.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's where it came from. But actually, what it is, and I'm gonna make this as quick as possible, okay? William Goad is Don's stepdad. William Goad is cousins somehow or another to the Trents. The Trents are cousins to the Lawsons.
Okay.
And
that's the connection.
Right. But it's all step. There's no blood connection there. Okay. And it's like 5th and 6th cousins down the road.
Right. So it's really extended.
Yeah.
That's what I kind of figured. I mean, technically, you could say they are connected by family,
Right.
but not necessarily anything like first cousins or anything.
No. I mean, if that's true, though, then you could say that him and Andy Bernard are cousins, too, because, I mean, the Bernards
Yeah.
and the Lights and the Sherfies and the Goads and all. And if you think about that, that means the Sherfies, because he's dating one of the Goad girls.
Who is?
Sherfie Sr.
Okay.
basically lives with one of the Goad girls. It's William Goad's niece or great niece.
Uh-huh.
But if the Sherfies are cousins to all of them and the Goads are cousins to all of them, wouldn't that make the Goad and Sherfies cousins and he's living with her?
Oh, yeah.
That's just,
Ugh.
I just realized that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. You know how people talk about the South and how we're all married to our
Yes.
cousins? Yeah, sometimes it's true.
You know what? It took me forever to realize what people were referring to when they say that brothers and sisters are marrying brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
People are taking that all wrong. In the South, when you lived in a rural area, there was not a lot of people. So if you had one huge family over here and one huge family over here, and you had two sisters and a brother that married this family over here with two brothers and a sister, that would be considered brothers and sisters marrying brothers and sisters.
Yep. Yep.
And
That
people
makes
just
sense.
take it the wrong way.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Well, you know, the family tree doesn't spread very far in Hawkins County. There's so many familiar names when you start looking, especially at crimes and stuff.
Right.
And police reports. But
oh, Holly, do you hear if I put this out there real quick? People who were talking, not recently, but here about a week or so back, they were talking about that Candace cannot do anything with that property that now that Don's in jail because he inherited it. He did not inherit that property. That property was signed over by Karen Goad to Callie Trent, I believe is her name. It's an elderly lady who owns like half of Hawkins County.
Okay, I knew she had some connection to the property.
Right. What it was Karen was not allowed to have that much property in her name and draw a government check. So in order, she knew she was sick. She knew she was dying. She wanted to make sure Don got the property and it didn't go back into the Goad family.
Okay.
So she signed it over to this Trent woman to hold for Don until Karen died.
Okay.
So when Karen died, Don actually had to pay her like $1 or $20 or something for the property.
Uh-huh.
So that's no longer become that it inheritance is null and void. He did not get it from his mother. He got that property from the Trent woman. So it was not right. It was not inherited. Candace most certainly can take if he's in jail for the rest of his life, she can claim that property and do with it what she wants.
Right. Well, she's not there anyway. She's
like
off somewhere in Georgia or something. Who knows?
That's what I heard, Charlie, was that Tim had the deed anyways.
Really? Why would he have it?
Because supposedly what I heard, allegedly, he signed, Don signed the deed the day he went to jail. In case, I'm assuming he did it in case Candace got put in jail.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm really surprised that he hasn't turned on her yet. Is anybody else really shocked about that? I really thought he was already close to it. And then when he got in jail and heard about all her fun and her talking about she's not in love with him anymore, I thought there's the key. Don is not going to have that. You know how he is.
Oh yeah.
And he's gonna turn, he's gonna give up the information on Candace.
And you know what? The only reason I think that he hasn't done that yet.
Why?
Because he's just as guilty as she is.
Yeah. Yeah. They have to be equally. They really do. He would have already made a deal by now if they weren't.
Exactly.
Do you think that he'll go to be sent to Utah at any point to face those charges? What do you think?
That I don't know. I don't even know if they ever wound up filing the charges, because the last I heard from Mary, it was on Doug's show not too long ago, and I didn't catch the whole show, and I didn't really catch, but just the way she was talking, because they were sounding like it was a big disappointment. Something was a big disappointment. So I'm thinking that maybe they're not going to file the charges. I don't know that for a fact. I'm just saying. Somebody, I want to look into that, because I don't think it's a
well,
go.
what about the Miranda rights we heard about from Chris M? Remember, did you know about that?
Yeah. We're the investigator from Utah called down here, but you have to be read Miranda rights if you're questioned about anything. Okay. So he can be questioned about something without actually being charged.
Okay.
So for the investigator to actually question him about what happened back when, he had to be given his rights to say, okay, you've got the right to have a lawyer if you want it. So.
Oh, okay.
That's what that was about.
Oh, look, somebody, Remain Calm, says that Don told BK before he went to jail that he was going to let him put a trailer, I guess, on the property. I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. How quickly did Benny turn against Don? He was calling him a dumbass like 2 days later or something.
Yeah, it was. Within the week, yeah. It's probably because he found out that Don signed the darn deed over to Tim Mullins instead of him.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a possibility.
Yeah, that's true.
See, that's true. I think go ahead.
Have you seen how I'm switching the subject? So you go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no, I was just going to read this. It says, I think Candace is waiting to find out if Dawn gets out of jail before she talks.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I bet she's scared of him. I think she would be fearful of Don, what he would do.
Right.
Yeah.
So you said you were going to change the subject. What were you going to say?
I was just going to talk about what BK has put out. I don't know if it was today or yesterday, but a video about Jose.
Really?
Yeah. And I mean, it's just awful what he's talking about. Like, you know, if he did take his own life, like he's going to, you know, his girlfriend commented and said, you know, it's because of YouTube and what you did and all this stuff. And it was just so tasteless and horrible. And I really wish, you know, if he really did do that Jose's family will try to seek some kind of damages from his videos or something.
Right.
Because you got to be responsible with what you put out.
Oh,
and
honey,
he just does whatever the hell comes out of his mouth. There it is.
That's true. There was somebody commented on one of my videos, and I'm not meaning to offend any of my viewers, but there was somebody commented and said that basically they were talking to Jose and saying the devil's going to take care of you when you get there. And I'm thinking, how can you say that? You have no. I said, what is God going to say to you when, you know, it's your time and you go up there and God looks at you and says, hey, guess what? That man didn't even have nothing to do with that. And you basically damned him to hell.
Yeah.
You know, how are you going to feel then? I mean, it's horrible the way people are acting. Horrible. I mean, Jose may very well could have something in all this.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he could have, honestly, there's the possibility that, you know, he wasn't great with Summer. But we just don't know. We just don't know.
Christola, what are you serious about, hon? And did you see this up here? Thank you, Christola. Yes. Exactly. And if anybody else says anything bad about another creator, you're gone. Plain and simple. I mean, everybody has a right to their opinion, but I'm not going to trash talk people, period. I'm not. Discussing something that has happened is one thing. Trash talking them is something else. Christola, you got this, honey. Okay, Holly, sorry.
That's okay.
That
I'm
that
sorry.
wasn't.
I feel like
No,
I
no, no,
directed that towards
no.
Benny.
You're fine. You're fine. No, like I said, discussing something about something somebody did is one thing, but just going all out
Mm-hmm.
is something totally different.
Yeah. Well, this whole thing with Harsh talking about the storm that's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who's my friend on YouTube is Wakram. She put out a video today that's really good, and it shows where Benny was saying that Tim Mullen had paid him. So Tim Mullen was paying those people surrounding Don and Candace.
Exactly, and that's something that me and Don B had discussed, Holly. And he was like, well, why would Tim Mullins? Why would Don give him the property? And I'm like, well, to ensure payment. I mean, Don B said that Tim Mullins was paying all these people, right?
Right.
Was he doing it out of the goodness of his heart? He was paying them out of his own pocket.
Yeah. And they had the private investigators there from Elizabethton, Tennessee, or something like that.
Elizabethton, yeah.
Yeah. They had those private investigators, which Candace called the uppers, and I've kind of looked into them. They don't work on cases pro bono. They don't do it for free. So who was paying them? Because they were involved for a very long time. I've heard since they're not doing it anymore, but I don't know that for sure. And
so you did find out they were the uppers?
Yeah, I can't quote a source. I just know
at some point
fine. I read something, but I don't know for sure that they quit. I had heard, I guess with Tim trying to kind of remove himself or be out of the spotlight, he's trying to lay low.
Right.
And somebody has said that the uppers were, it may have been something Candace said, was Chris and I think her name's Trudy.
Yeah.
The private investigators.
Well, see,
somebody was paying them.
There's also a church group, a very widespread church group that is called the Uppers.
Really?
Yes, and they are pretty much in every state.
I didn't know.
It's an actual organization.
Okay. Do you think that's what she was talking about?
It could be. From what little research I did on them, they pay for like attorney's fees and different stuff, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Right.
And there's been I'm not trashing any church. Trust me, I'm not. I'm a Christian wholeheartedly. But there's a lot of people under the guise of a church or a religion that do not so nice things.
Right. It's the best way for them to hide, to hide under the name of Christ or God. Then, people, that's why so many kids get abused in churches. People think they're safe there. Right. I went to a Christian high school in Florida. I used to live in Florida for a while and graduated from there. And I think it was like 2 years after I graduated, the principal, who was also the pastor of the church that had the school, was convicted of essaying children in the school. And he'd been doing it for 20 years.
Wow.
20 years.
Gypsy says it's the Upper Room Ministries, and I believe it was not Charlie. Where was that? It was in like the next one down. I've lost it now. But anyways, it was telling about the uppers, and that they are involved in all churches. Here's one. Charlie K said that.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'll have to do some research on that.
But of course, now with Candace, disappearing out of the spotlight, we don't hear anything else about the uppers.
Right.
Or who's in control. And what gets me, this is something else I wanted to throw out there. Kathy, the friend Kathy, says that there is no media manager. Nobody speaks for the family but Candace and Grandis.
Okay.
But yet Tim Mullins is still throwing out there that he is the media manager and he's in charge of the vigil that's coming up on the 15th.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
that's a little weird to me.
That is weird.
That's Tina. Yes, Tina, I said that it wasn't all churches and that I am a Christian. Yes, I agree 100%. I'm just saying that a lot of people do use the name of a church or a religion to do not so nice things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Only because I didn't know how else to try to explain it.
Right. I got you. There's some really good churches out there. There's good people, but there's also, just like everywhere in the world, there's bad people in churches too.
Right. Well, Miss Tina is a co-minister in the church that where her and her husband co-minister together.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So, and she is a dear friend of mine too. So, hello,
Okay.
Lisa. I didn't see you come in, hon. I would like to know if the Wells didn't know David Dodson that well. How did they know his number to call when she couldn't get a hold of Robin? Well, that's a really good question too, and I believe it was Mary that said that they went to high school together or something. But I'd like to know how that happened because Mary grew up in Utah. She didn't grow up in Tennessee.
How long had David Dodson been like known by the Wells? Do we really know?
No, we don't. There was a woman. I thought it was supposed to have been Mary, his stepsister, had said that Dawn and David had went to school together or something. Maybe it was when she was down here visiting sometime or something. That later on she saw him talking at a gas station. But according to the official knowledge to everybody, David Dodson started the church 3 months before Summer got gone.
Yeah, so he hadn't been around very long, and they called him. Did Robin call him to come that day that she went missing, or did?
No, that was Candace could not get a hold of Robin.
Okay.
And called David to call Robin.
Okay. It's interesting that she would have David's number.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
Because Candace seems like one who, well, I guess not. I was going to say, like new friends, she probably wouldn't be calling her new friends first, but she does seem to make close relationships pretty quick, according to what I see on YouTube.
Yeah.
I mean, with like Ernie and stuff, she didn't know him, and before long, it wasn't that long, she seemed very close to him, or like she wanted to be anyway. What is he doing these days, y'all?
He is now a Baptist. He converted back to being a Baptist, and
what was
he is
he
married.
Before?
He was just got the
no
right
I
before.
Mean, okay, I meant Ernie. I'm sorry.
Oh,
like,
Ernie. What's Ernie doing now? Supposedly he's shooting a movie.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
Whether that's true or not, I don't know. He's also in the process of supposedly getting married.
Ernie is?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't even know there was a girlfriend.
Oh, well, he did a live about it and announced it to everybody, and she looks really young, and everybody was asking how old she was, and she looks like she's about 17, 18 years old, but she swears up and down she's 39. But
what? That's a big difference.
But then he was talking to her, trying to get her attention, and she automatically says, "Yes, sir." And he goes, "Yes, sir. Yes, sir."
Oh my!
And she's
goodness.
like, "That didn't have anything to do with age. That was respect. I'm a Southern girl."
Oh my goodness!
I don't know any fiancés or man and wives that say yes, sir, and yes, ma'am to each other.
No, me neither. Not at all. Wow. That tells you that right there tells you how much age difference. But I had heard he said that his ex-girlfriend had started a relationship with Candace. That sounds so far-fetched, but that's what somebody had said in one of my comments. That,
like a romantic relationship?
yeah. Mm-hmm. But
Wow.
he was probably joking. I don't know.
I hadn't heard that, so I don't even know how to react to that.
I know. I know. I got to say that I was guilty of watching when Candace would be on his live, just hoping, knowing that he was never going to get it out of her, but just still had that glimmer of hope that I would sit there and listen to that nonsense.
Hey, let me tell you something. If anybody was going to have hopes of getting her to admit it, I'm sorry. Ernie's not my favorite person either. I watch him every now and then because it's funny.
Yeah.
He is a funny person. But
Yes.
I honestly believe if anybody was going to have any hopes of actually basically beating it out of her, it would have been Ernie. He was asking all the right questions.
Right. Yeah, he was definitely giving her an easier way to say things. Like he was saying, we know it's not you. We know it's Dawn.
Right.
That's kind of almost like a tactic you've seen with police on, they're like, oh, well, just tell us, it was probably an accident, right? It was just an accident. Just to get some information coming out.
So has your thoughts on the subject changed since the other day? Or I don't think we ever really did get your opinion on what you think happened.
I have, I believe that she was either sold into trafficking or that Candace drugged her that day after she let her go swimming and everything. That orange soda was probably laced with drugs, or I don't think that Grandis would have talked about it when she changed her story to a friend.
Yeah.
She said, but I mean, the orange soda is so, I mean, who would bring that out when all this has supposedly happened to her granddaughter? Who would tell in the story something about her trying to drink an old orange soda? That just sticks out to me. I think she was drugged in that picture, whether it took her life or not. I don't know whether they drugged her for the transition, if they gave her off, dropped her off with somebody else or had somebody come get her. I don't think she ever got out of that car, like Candace says, but I think sold or killed by them somehow.
Oh, don't say that. You can't say that, baby.
Okay.
I do think I'm in agreement with you. She was on the verge in that picture because of the blue fingernails and stuff. But one thing, I know what I've said and what I believe, and I'll stick to it till the end. But I do believe, excuse me for a minute. I do believe that when Don made that, and I don't care what anybody says about how or what else he said with it, Don made the statement, there is no evidence, there can never be any evidence.
Mm-hmm.
The only way that is possible, Holly, would be if that child got into a vehicle or was in a vehicle and they left that property in that vehicle. Right. And she was okay, not passed when they left that property, because otherwise cadaver dogs could tell, where they, blood traces and stuff.
Right.
Luminol could tell if there was anything like that. The only way there could be no trace is if they took that child off that property and she was fine when she left.
Right. The cadaver dogs smelling, in that truck, you got a good point there.
Right. So she may have very well been on the verge of not being okay. And I say that, because I don't want to say the other. Right. But I believe she was alive when she left that property.
Yeah. Right.
And that's why Don said that.
That's one of my theories. And I don't know. I think for Don to say that, really, he knows I believe him when he says that, and I'm afraid of that. I don't want there to be no evidence.
And then that also spins right back to, like I said, I've been watching those news conferences and briefings and stuff. And for Leslie Earhart to start talking about the fact that the reason, and I've been saying this from the get-go, that something came out in those 911 calls. Mm-hmm. There had to have been, because they had an endangered alert that night.
Right.
They also said that they were already conducting an investigation that night that she went missing. And
hang on 1 second. Hold on.
You doing okay?
Yeah.
Good. Well, I'm on the way home. I've been to the VA and they put stuff in my eyes and still can't see.
I'm sorry.
Well, I'm being careful.
Yeah.
Hey, little bit. How are you?
How do I mute?
Hang on, I got you.
I'll be right back.
Okay, guys. Anyways, like I was saying, that because Leslie Earhart plainly states that night it was an endangered child alert, and during the investigation, with more information that they gathered that night and the next morning, they had to turn it into an Amber Alert. And the difference being, an endangered child alert is a mid-level. The child could be in danger. An Amber Alert, they believe the child is in imminent danger, bodily danger, and or death. And that was in one night's time from her missing. And then to have Tim Coop say that they were looking 6 days to 5 days later, saying that they were looking in a field for hidden evidence or her to be hidden, that tells me they know what happened to this child. They don't know how, maybe, but they know that somebody harmed her and that they hid the body.
Okay, sorry. My dad
you're fine.
Like 85 years old. He doesn't even understand that I get on YouTube Live, so I couldn't do anything about it.
Sweetheart, I tell you the same as I tell everybody else. This is a stupid YouTube channel, and real life happens. Yeah. And real life comes first.
Yep.
I mean, if the YouTube channel didn't exist, all our lives are still going to continue.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I just want to keep Summer's name out there.
Me too.
Really do. Yeah.
I have went from one extreme to the next in blaming the law enforcement. You know, why haven't they took Candace into custody and held her and pressured her like they have all these other parents? Mm-hmm. To, okay, guys, well, maybe they really are hunting for whoever did this to Summer. Because, like I said, from listening to those news conferences and really listening to them, mm-hmm. They are saying from that very first night, they were conducting an investigation into her, to what happened to her, not into her disappearance, mm-hmm. but into what happened to her.
Right. Right. I agree.
So,
oh, gosh.
I mean, we just have to listen to the little things that they say, like Ronnie Lawson stating that, you know, they've found stuff. They just haven't found the nail, you know, for the coffin.
Right, right. The one puzzle piece that's missing.
Right.
I know. There's a lot of people upset that Candace hasn't had to face charges for the neglect of the boys. And
oh, definitely.
I agree with that.
Even if it's proven that they never did anything to Summer, I think Dawn and Candace and Grandis should all face charges simply because of the type of parents they were. And I'm not saying that the house has to be spotless.
Right.
Lord,
right.
I'm not a housekeeper, never have been.
Mm-hmm.
But that woman knew DCS was coming.
Yes.
She didn't lift a finger to clean that house. When Summer disappeared, she definitely knew DCS was coming.
Mm-hmm.
And in that 6 weeks, that it took for them to come and get those boys, she never lifted a finger. He
No.
never lifted a finger to do anything inside or outside the house.
No, he didn't. Extension cords hanging from the ceiling.
Exactly. And with Grandis, she's the grandmother. Okay, fine. Candace was your responsibility, Grandis.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't raise her right. She's not taking care of her own children. You were the grandmother. It was your job to step in and make sure those kids were taken care of.
I know.
Because Candace didn't turn out right because of her. So she should have stepped in and took the place of Candace.
I know.
And took care of the children.
I know. That's what a lot of grandmothers would do, really. Even if they, they had been a less than perfect mom themselves. So many times when they turn into grandparents, they have learned, and they treat their grandchildren a lot better than they did their children.
Well, because they figure that's their second chance to get it right this time.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
And because a lot of them figure, this is an extent, these are my children, and this is an extension of them, so therefore they're my responsibility also. Or that's how I feel,
Yeah, right. Well, that's what good grandparents do,
And if it ever came time that my grandchildren had children and they needed help, that's still my bloodline. I created this, and I'm going to help take care of it.
Right, exactly. Well, not everybody's like that.
No, and I agree, not everybody is, and maybe I'm not the one in the right here, but that's just the way I feel.
Right.
Does anyone think that Lawson saying not a high traffic area for drugs just meant they kept the drugs circulating more in that area? Just asking. No, it's not a high traffic area, because they were all keeping it low key. Maybe. I agree with Holly when it comes to that. Maybe. Is there a possibility? I'm asking in a question, so it's not an accusation. Right. Is there a possibility that Lawson was getting all the drugs out of that area so that perhaps maybe people who run businesses that he knew could do it themselves?
Right. And then he could make a portion.
A little extra on the side, yeah.
Possible. I mean, who knows? We don't know that.
Right.
But I have wondered, because I've seen other stories where that was the case.
That's been said for years in Cott County about the sheriff. Yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
But go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, with you bringing up the house earlier and the state of the house, do you think that all the people that went up there to help her with the house, do you think they just had super good hearts, kind people who wanted to help, or do you think there were some people in there who had other motivations?
Oh no, I know one of them. One of them's a friend of mine. I've been friends with him all his life, and yes, he does have a good heart. Yes, they were trying to help out, but he also wanted to know what happened this summer, so he was up there snooping around.
Oh, good for him. I imagine, he wasn't alone. There was probably a good bit of people who just wanted to be able to try to see.
Well, the shed that Cam and Allie swears up and down that they weren't allowed in.
Mm-hmm.
That they got to go in it, but then when they had the camera, they weren't allowed to go in that shed.
Right.
Bobby says all that's in there that looks like somebody closed down a Christmas store that sold Christmas ornaments and stuff. And it looks like they stored all that stuff in that shed. That and bottles and empty bottles and jars and stuff. That's all that's in that.
Okay. That's interesting.
And he doesn't know where any couch was. There was no couch when he went up there. Nowhere. The only furniture in that house, I think he said, was a dresser or two. The kitchen table and chairs, and of course the stove and refrigerator, and the mattresses or the bunk beds. That's it.
Yeah. Did he notice a roach problem at that point?
If he did, he didn't say anything to me about it. And I haven't talked to him since, for a while now. But he didn't say anything about bugs or anything. I think he was Now, he did say Dawn did most of like the sheetrock and stuff that they were, when they were doing the work on the actual house.
Uh-huh.
Dawn did a lot of the sheetrock. Candace and Grandis sat up there and didn't do diddly squat. He said that is the laziest. That's why a lot of people quit. They stopped going up there and working is because Candace and Grandis sit there and wouldn't do nothing. But now they did get the walls and the door put up around the bathroom. They got the walls put up downstairs to separate those two rooms,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And but that Candace and Grandis were the two laziest people he's ever seen.
I'm not surprised. I'm sorry, but I'm not. But yeah, that really discourages you. There you are trying to help her, and she's just kicking back, not participating. That would make me not want to help too.
Right. Amy Lou, you have pictures from the shed? Recent pictures. That's right. You know them, don't you?
Is that the shed that supposedly has the
Christmas
basement?
ornaments in it?
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's the one that she's talking about. Yes, Amy, please send us a copy. And if Connie, if you are in here, you still never sent me the trail cam video. Connie says she has a trail cam video, Holly, of one of the trail cams up there, and that the picture in my video of the guy standing at the back of the red truck, that's the same guy that was in the trail cam video.
Oh, okay. That's awesome.
Let's see. Canning jars. Huh?
Did you ever hear Allie's story about being up there and when they were supposed to come help Candace and stuff? I did a video on it a couple days ago.
Oh, no.
Well,
after Summer went missing?
Yeah. It was in October. She said that Candace called him one day and said, this person says they can't come. She was asking them to come the next day because she said they were supposed to paint or do something in the house. And she said they had to cancel on me, and another person had to cancel. And she said, so can you guys come up and do this for me? And she got, according to them, she got kind of a bad tone, like, you need to come up and do this. Y'all said you would help me, kind of thing. And so they said no, because they never took their kids up there, and their children were out of school the next day, that day. So they said, with the kids being out of school, no, we're not going to come up there. And she would beg them to bring the kids. They said it happened more than once. Right. And then she told Allie, she said, they can play in the basement. And then she said that, and then I guess Allie gave her a look like, oh my gosh, the basement Summer got abducted from. And she said, oh yeah, she said, it would be a real shame if another child went missing from the basement, wouldn't it? A shame. Oh, wow. A shame. Not a tragedy. Oh my gosh, I hate that basement. That's where, she was disappeared from. No, right. She forgot about it on the first comment. Like, oh, just let them play in the basement. And I guess she kind of clicked with her. And then she said, yeah, that would be a shame if your kids went missing.
Wow.
Allie said it made her blood run cold. She said it was just so creepy. And I'm thinking, she might want to tell TBI that. And that happened 6 months ago.
Wow.
So, yeah. I think that says a lot. I think that's...
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I really, really think they know that Candace and Dawn did something to that baby.
That who knows?
That Ellie knows.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too.
I believe they know that maybe they sold her because, like I said, Tim Coop was saying that everybody needed to search Sullivan and Hawkins County. Yeah. And then Ronnie Lawson was saying if it was just Hawkins County, it would stay within LE in Hawkins County. But if it's out of the county, they bring TBI in. If it's out of the state, they bring FBI in, and they brought both of those in that first night.
Right, the card team from FBI. Yep, they sure did. That gives us a lot of information right there about what their thoughts were.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Thank you, Amy. She's sending it now. Common Sense, would you like me to send? Oh, you haven't created your new email, have you?
Oh, my email address?
Yeah.
It's just commonsensetruecrime@gmail.com.
Okay, so you did, or you already had one, or you created one?
When? I did this a while back.
Oh, okay. Well, see, No Filter didn't know that.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
That's why she's been communicating on your comments.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's better to have email.
Yeah. Oh, Lord, honey. Thank you so much for coming up with me.
Oh, you're welcome.
Jen had a birthday party or graduation or something she had to go to today.
Oh, okay. And does she come up every time with you?
She does lately. She didn't at first, but that was because, she didn't talk on the phone for years after her stroke.
Really?
Yeah. And
Aww.
she wouldn't even talk to me on the phone when I first started talking to her. And I called her one day, or she called me or something anyways. And I'm like, you can't even tell it. I don't know what your problem is. And then I finally got her up on panel with me, and she's been here ever since. It helps. I not saying that she's not intelligent. She is intelligent. Don't get me wrong. But I just like somebody up here with me to feel the dead air, so that I can converse with somebody.
I would feel the same way. Yeah.
It just makes me feel better.
Christola, yeah, that's right. That's the right email. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. See, I told you, she's quick with all the links. I mean, you say something and she's got it up there.
That's awesome.
I'm telling you,
you have a lot of people who just really sound like they're just very connected to you, who've just found, so much in common with you and stuff like that. That's great.
I love all of my viewers and all of my subs and my mods, but there's been a select few that have just really, like Christola. She's like on YouTube. She is my pride and joy. I mean, I just love her to death. She's my baby girl on YouTube. Tina's like a sister to me. Jen, best friend. Marianne Nolan, she's one of the mods, and we talk on the phone all the time too.
Right.
I get a deep connection with people. I really do.
Yeah, that's me. I don't have a ton of friends, but I have, the ones I do. I don't know. I like the deeper connection. I'm just not, everybody's different though. That's just me. That's just, I take all things in my life on a deeper level than a lot of people. So we're all different.
You do have great mods. I enjoy your channel so much. Thank you, Remain Calm. And I do have awesome mods. I really do. And they each have their own little job that they do very well.
When did you start your channel?
I believe it was January the 9th is when I actually did my first video. I didn't get monetized until in March.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
But it's not been going that long. That's why it's taking forever for me to grow.
Mm-hmm. Well, I started not much after you did, and I'm definitely not as big as you. But I'm trying not to worry about how many. To me, it's the quality of the people.
Right, exactly.
That you interact with about Summer and people who care about her. People who really disagree with me, they have the definite right to their opinion, but most of the time I'm like, you're not going to like it here.
Right.
You know, if you support Dawn and Candace, you're really not going to have anything in common with me. So,
Right.
you know,
Christola was saying Marianne Nolan, she actually drives a hearse. Her brother owns a funeral home, and she actually drives a hearse for her everyday car. And
really,
she's gonna come up here and drive us all up to Ben Hill so that we could go have a. We were gonna. Everybody said that Candace talks more the more she drinks, and I said, well, hey, I can get the moonshine. Anybody want to go to Ben Hill and have a party? So we agreed we were going to ride up there in the hearse.
yeah. I wonder why she doesn't want to stay in that house anymore, though. I mean, if I'm right that she's not there, makes
Because
you
of
wonder.
the ghosts. Even if there's not real ghosts, the ghosts in her mind.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I mean, Don wouldn't be able to tell her not to stay there, would he? Because she is his wife, right?
Right.
They were married. Okay.
She gets mail there, honey. He can't kick her out.
Oh,
You can't kick somebody out if they get mail at an address. You have to actually go to court, and it takes forever in court to get that done.
Mm-hmm.
So no, him being in jail, he couldn't kick her out.
Yeah. Have you heard if she and Grandis's or her mom are on better terms? At one point, they were fighting, weren't they?
That's what people were saying. I don't know if it's true or not. Now, I do know that Grandis is supposed to be in Illinois at her sister's house.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if they're actually talking or not talking. Or I know that's what that girl Jessica was reporting, that they were fighting.
Mm-hmm.
But then we learned that Jessica supposedly was lying. And then we found out that she was telling the truth. And then who knows?
I know. It changes daily, almost. Always something else.
That's why I honestly and truly, I promise you, I hardly watch anybody anymore. I don't get on YouTube and sit and just, when I get on there, I'll watch a few different people. And now if I catch a title that's really interesting, I'll check it out.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I look at the titles, I see what's up that week. And the very reason I'm going back to the news reports, to get factual stuff where people aren't fighting and he said, she said kind of crap.
Firsthand, instead of through another creator.
Right. Yeah. And like I said the other night, I truly do not like to be on the train where everybody's doing the same darn story. You're just hearing about it 500 different ways.
Yeah, I don't like that either. Like, I've tried to kind of follow up and say what I think about stuff like Jose and stuff, but I'm always late, and it's just not it's not normal for me to jump on the bandwagon with everybody else and cover something when I really don't have much of an interest in that aspect.
Exactly. So, that's the way I am, like with Jody Sue.
Exactly. I was like, but I started watching more because there was more out there.
Yeah.
And I definitely became where I had an opinion about her. Before, I honestly was like, oh, she doesn't seem like a nice person at all. But that's about as far as I went.
Well, so, when she first came out and started telling the stories about Candace coming down there with the baby's diaper soaking wet and, all that stuff, I'm like, okay, she sounds like a regular neighbor in Tennessee, telling the truth.
Yeah.
But then she went sort of nuts on her live feeds and her YouTube channel, and I stopped watching her. And then actually today or yesterday, one of the viewers or subs on my channel asked if I'd heard that she walked up the creek to actually get the scent off of her. And I'm like, well, no, I heard what she originally told, which was she heard Candace looking for Summer and went to look herself, and she decided to walk through the water so that her scent wouldn't disturb any other scents when they brought the scent dogs in.
I don't believe that.
Okay, now listen though. And I'm like, okay, back then I was like, okay, makes sense,
Mhm.
And then when he said that and I was answering him back, I was like, but now that you think about it, wasn't that awfully considerate of her to do that? Because she was looking for Summer either right before or right after 911 was called. How did she know that they were going to need scent dogs at that time?
Exactly. And also, someone had pointed out that she didn't put her dogs up. If she's thinking about scent dogs, why would she leave all her dogs out to distract them?
Exactly, Sherry Weeks. I can't say that I wouldn't go up there. I would go up there. I would want to go up there and look myself. Of course, I would be taking and tearing the walls out and digging, making sure there ain't no tunnels under that house. And
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ernie talked about those tunnels a lot, about the possibility.
oh, I didn't know there was supposed to be any tunnels. I'm just saying that's what I would be looking for.
Yeah, yeah. The way they had the stairs behind that bar,
Yeah.
I don't know. It just makes it look like maybe they were involved in trafficking themselves. You know, possibly.
Well,
It looks suspicious.
allegedly that there was supposed to have been a camera set up downstairs in their bedroom at one point in time.
Mm-hmm.
That was right after the story about Sharfie Jr. came out.
Oh, okay. Ugh.
And it sort of makes you wonder. I've been saying that. Where did Sharfie Jr. come up with his content?
You know what? That's another thing I didn't think of. And he's so close by.
Right. I mean, he was 4 minutes away from Evelyn
Mm-hmm.
and where she lived.
Yeah.
And, his dad lived right up the road, 8-minute walk from Summer's house.
Yeah.
In my video that I did about Sharfie Jr., who's to say that he wasn't just driving down the road and Candace run to the bottom of the hill and met him and handed her off?
Could be.
Because, I mean, if he was in that business, and they had to come up with content from somewhere.
Right.
So.
That's true. And also, what other kids around there was he getting content from?
Oh, honey, I've been saying that, not specifically about Sharfie, but about Dawn and Candace. I mean, come on, there's Jody Sue's little girl. There was a couple of years back, she had a teenage boy, right about the same age as Hunter.
Uh-huh.
There was that Cameron boy who was 14 or 15. There's Allie's other two girls, and evidently now her niece.
Mm-hmm.
There are 4 kids that they actually had in the house with them. I mean, how many kids does that make already?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, let's not forget Marlena.
I don't know about anything about Marlena. Tell me about that.
Marlena was a friend of Candace's. It was said that she was staying up there at the Wells house. It was said she was actually staying up there when Summer got gone.
Okay.
Don't know if it's true or not.
Mm-hmm.
Allegedly, another story came out that Marlena's little girl, who is supposed to have been best friends with Summer, but she's a couple years older, was spending the night with Summer on the 14th. Something happened that night, and Marlena had to go get her little girl.
Okay.
And take her away, take her away from the Ben Hill.
Uh-huh.
And when I did a story, just a video trying to find Marlena so I could talk to her. So I could try to find that information, to verify one way or the other.
Right.
Finally, the Green Eyes guy helped me get in contact with her.
Uh-huh.
By this time, she's looking for me, and she calls me up and she makes threats that, first she had me take the video down and she would give me an interview. So I did. And then she wouldn't call me. She just texted, and she was saying, well, pay me money. I know how this works. You got to pay me money, and I'll tell you my side of the story.
Oh, man.
And when I was answering her saying, look, I don't do that, then she deleted her side of the conversation.
Oh, okay.
But she did, before that happened, she did threaten me. She said that her uncle was the lead detective on the case, and that if I didn't stop with my, involving her, that she would have me took care of, and that my channel would be took down and I would never have one again.
Okay. Wow.
And so
It was that the picture of Summer where she's kind of hunched over with that little girl.
yes,
She's not.
that's
Is that
Marlena's.
Marlena's daughter?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And her name, I won't say her name, but imagine you're taking a trip and it's a blank into the woods, or it's a blank to another country.
Mm-hmm.
Starts with a J. That's her name.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I think I had heard that.
Yeah.
Okay. Gosh, it's been a year of this. There's so much. I mean, regularly all day.
Yes. And
Oh,
people wake up every morning looking to see if somebody's found Summer, and they go to bed. That's the last thing they do at night.
I know. I'm one of them.
I am too. Every day.
I think whoever all is behind this really thought, oh, it'll just go away.
I
I'm
believe
really
that
glad
also.
It hasn't. Yeah, I'm really glad it hasn't. And I'm thankful for everybody that truly cares about Summer and is, like a dog with a bone. And we're not letting this go. We're not going to let anybody forget it. It's probably pissing off so many people.
Well, that's what I'm thinking, is that Dawn and Candace honestly thought, oh, we'll say that she got abducted. They might look for her for a couple days, and then they'll just drop it, and it'll go away like all these other kids do.
Mm-hmm. I think so too.
And then when they found out it wasn't going away, they got scared.
Right. Yep.
But thank you for showing up. Thank you for helping me out.
Oh, you're welcome. I appreciate you having me.
I love discussing this with you.
Yeah, this has been fun.
Didn't they use Robin's daughter when videoing the reenactment that Dawn said they did? And he said he could have carried a 40-pound sack of taters down that steep hill in seconds. I don't know. I never saw that video. Remain calm. I know. I mean, I don't. The part that I saw that was on the news, it didn't have any little kids in it, so I don't know. But I believe that was Marlena and her daughter up there, the little girl playing on the swing in that video, and everybody kept wondering who that little girl was.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that was Marlena and her little girl.
Oh, really? Okay.
Mm-hmm. What other kid would feel, or what other parent would feel comfortable enough to let their child play on Summer swing?
That's true. That's true.
I mean, I know people have said it was that older lady, Dean or Dale or whatever her name was, and her grandchild. But I took a good look at that woman. That was a younger woman, or I think it was, anyways.
Okay. Yeah. I wonder how much that Marlena knows.
Evidently, according to her, she's talked to the FBI, she's talked to the TBI and the LE, and enough that I heard she got offered, or she told one creator that they were talking about paying her $500 for her story.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm not the only person that she's tried to what is that word?
Money out of?
Yes, extort. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, I wouldn't be paying her a dime. You're not going to make. I mean, that's exploiting Summer in a big way.
Yeah, it sure is. Let's see, what does she say? I've been here since the beginning. I watched the trial for little Joe Clyde, and then boom, Summer. And Joe Clyde, also from Tennessee, was never found, but Dad confessed. Well, actually, how they caught his dad, or how they started pointing the finger, was because of the baby brother, who was 3 years old, said it while the dad was sitting there filling out the missing persons report.
That's great.
Yeah.
I wish Summer's brothers would be our answer here. I mean,
Well,
no,
that-
I'm not putting them down at all.
No, I know what you mean, hon. Well, it took
Yeah.
Joe Clyde's older brother. It was his half brother.
Mhm.
It took him. They started interviewing him when he was 8. That's when it happened. And
Mhm.
in June of last year is when they finally went to trial. He was 11, and he was able to get on the stand and say what he saw, which
That's
was,
brave.
his stepdad beating the baby.
Right.
But
Oh,
when
my
they were sitting there with the law enforcement filling out the missing persons report, the aunt, the great aunt, and I'm assuming she's a little slow because of the way they talked about her, but she was holding the baby. He was 3, and the baby said, "Joe's dead. Joe's dead." And the aunt says, "Yes, baby, he's dead."
Wow.
And that's what got the cops' attention. And they're like, "Oh, wait a minute."
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So, I mean, I really wish that they could find him and bring his remains home.
Yeah.
I don't know why she can't be grilled until she drops either, hon.
I know. I mean, my thing with Candace is that she's addicted to so many substances. Like, if they just held her in a room for 8 hours, she would kind of start hurting for something, to use something. It might make her more willing to talk, possibly.
Right?
I don't know.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Hang on a second.
She said that Robin's ex said Candace made sure those boys didn't see. I believe that too. I do. Robin.
Yeah.
I think they were so caught up in Minecraft that, they
I
didn't.
agree.
Yeah. But what about when Don came out with his son and had his arm on his shoulder? His boy looked so devastated and sad. He looked scared.
Yes, he did. I believe so too. But you got to remember, hang on, let me look at these notes right here. Because Ronnie Lawson actually says, okay, and this was on June the 16th, and the timestamp during that interview was 6:08. Sheriff Lawson makes the statement that she left the house and she just got a little farther than they expected.
Really?
Yes.
I hadn't heard that.
Yep.
And when was this again?
It was the June 16th. Shoot. Where the TBI and the FBI, or not FBI, but the TBI and the Ronnie Lawson was given their interviews.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was an actual, I can't find the stupid video right this second. But yeah, he said the timestamp is 6:08, and it was the interview or the briefing that they did on June the 16th.
Okay. I'll go back and look at that. That's interesting.
And he says she left the house and she got a little farther than what they expected, which goes along with the fact that he reported it. I couldn't find this one, but Ronnie Lawson's also the one that said that the boys said she left out of the house, out of the downstairs door.
Uh-huh. Okay. Well, Candace was saying what she slipped up one time with Benny, I think, and said that, what'd she say? I think about, I can't remember. It was something about that she walked off this property. She said something like that didn't match up with her abduction theory. I think that's one of the reasons this case has such a following, because for so long, first we had Dawn getting.
Thank you, Amy. Go ahead. Sorry, hon.
That's okay. First we had Dawn getting on YouTube almost nightly, being high or drunk, and all of us are sitting on the edge of our seat, hoping he'll say something where we can find Summer. And then after that, it was Candace. And, that's unusual. You don't have that with missing kids cases.
Right.
The suspected the suspected parents going on and talking and talking and talking.
Right. Sunset. Yes, that was my exact meaning. What did they mean? Further than they expected. How far did they expect her to go? I'm trying to see if search warrant. Oh, another thing that Leslie Earhart made a statement too. But this was in the December 15th interview, or the alert, or the update thing, and she says that they say anybody who saw her on June 15th, come in and report it if you saw her on June 15th, if you haven't already done this, which means they've already had people come in and say that they saw her that day.
Oh, okay.
And as far as any of us knew, nobody had seen her.
Yeah, that's right.
Other than like Allie, Hunter, Candace, that's it.
Yeah, that's all it was supposed to be. Huh. Well, let me ask you this, just moving right along.
That's fine.
The picture of that was supposed to be the 15th, where she was playing in the swimming hole.
Right.
Her face looks so different from what it normally did. And at first I was like, is this even Summer? And then I thought, why would her face be so swollen? And it just even changed the whole look of her face. What do you think about that picture?
Some people are saying that it's her older brother dressed up like her.
Yeah, there are people who say that. Yeah.
But my question is, at that point in time, wasn't Summer still around? I mean, if this was something that was planned out, because that's what they're saying, is that all these photographs were taken of her older brother to plan out something. But if she was still around, why wouldn't they just go ahead and use her? Why would they use the brother?
Right.
And
I don't know, unless she died way before and they needed pictures to show she was still alive on June 15th. That's the only thing I could come up with.
True.
If they're throwing them off about the date, and they did whatever happened to Summer before, a good bit before,
or something awful happened the night of the 14th.
Mm-hmm.
Something so bad that she had to come pick her daughter up.
I wonder why she had to pick her daughter up.
That's why I wanted to talk to her, but she pulled that crap. But it makes you wonder what may have happened that night that was so horrible that she had to come pick her child up.
Yeah.
And she's not ever come out and said this is not true.
Huh. That's weird.
The only thing that's ever been said is you all don't have the right facts.
Okay. I don't know. There's some other pictures that don't look like Summer either. They really don't. I'm like, who was this kid?
Right.
But I can't figure it out.
I don't know, hon. There's been rumors that she's had a twin. There's been rumors that there were kids born before her.
Mm-hmm.
That there was a little girl born after her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that's what aggravates people the most about law enforcement not picking Candace up and doing something, is because of all the not knowns, all the speculation. If we could just get Candace in custody, maybe we could get some of these answers,
Right. I don't know. I was thinking the other day, I was like, well, law enforcement complains about us speculating, complains about us coming up with theories. And I wonder if they would give us a little more information than nothing, that they give us all the time.
Right.
If maybe it would help that.
It would.
You think so?
I absolutely think so.
Yeah.
If they would, there is so much that they could actually clear up without giving away anything in the case.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like they could come in and say, yes, she was last seen in, walking out of the basement.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's not jeopardizing the case.
Right.
But at least we would know, okay, Candace was lying about her being in the basement.
Mm-hmm.
They could say, yes, we picked up the videos, which we do know. I mean, I called, law enforcement did at least pick them up from Food Line or Save a Lot, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
But I just say there's so many things that they could at least either say, okay, no, this did not happen,
Mm-hmm.
or this has already been checked and it's
Right.
been unfounded or whatever, that would not jeopardize the case. And that would shut a lot of people up.
Yeah. I know. It's the not knowing that makes us all continue to try to, our brain continues to want to try to put the pieces together.
Yeah.
They've not even, what frustrates me is I don't know how it would interfere with the case, but just to even tell us, hey, she really did go missing on the 15th,
Right.
But I read an article at some point from a newspaper in Atlanta that I had never heard this said before, and they said TBI is keeping the actual timeline close to the vest, so they basically couldn't talk about the timeline, which makes me say the timeline we've been given by the family is not right.
Right.
That's what I think that means. I mean, there's something different because they won't share it with us. If it was exactly the same, they would just say, here's the timeline, just like her mom said, that kind of thing.
Oh, there was also one other thing, and I meant to write it down and I forgot. I've had arguments before about yes, I do know people that it goes from state to state. They vary a little bit from state to state. But there are 4 major things that constitute an Amber Alert. And one of them is you have to have a description of the child and the description of the suspect that took them and or the suspect's car, right?
Uh-huh.
That is one of the absolute things they have to have for an Amber Alert. Leslie Earhart actually gets on there and says, there is no abductor, there is no vehicle involved, and as soon as we can identify one or come up with one, we will let you all know that. But that was also right after they issued the Amber Alerts. But yet they already knew she was in imminent bodily harm or danger of death.
Right. Well, I mean, do you think they felt like saying that red coma was enough to kind of let that count?
No, because the Amber Alert was issued at 10:30 or 11:30 on the 16th of June. The red Tacoma, the information about the red Tacoma didn't come out until the 26th of June.
Okay. All right, gotcha.
So, I mean, they can't even use that. Something in those 911 calls or something that the boys said changed the endangered to the Amber Alert overnight because nothing else happened. There was no witnesses that we have heard of or anybody's admitted to come forward. And you would think if they had, then something would have been solved in the case, by now.
Right.
So nothing other than the 911 calls has happened.
Right. Yeah. So do you think Jody Sue had any involvement, Nana? Or guilty knowledge?
Guilty knowledge.
Okay. Yeah.
Guilty knowledge. If not helped after the fact.
Uh-huh. Right. Well, her story has just changed so many times.
Right.
When she first came out, did she not say that the Wells were decent people and wouldn't have anything to do with this?
I don't remember back when she was saying that. The first interview or the first time I heard her talk was when she was telling the story about Candace. Like they never knew that she was pregnant until they saw them carrying the baby car seat up the driveway because it was too slippery to drive up the driveway. It was when Candace would come over on the four-wheeler, letting the baby, the youngest son, drink alcohol out of his sippy cup, and he had a nasty diaper on, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I remember that.
That was the first thing I heard about it.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to ask you a stupid question, Holly.
Go ahead.
Can you hear that weird noise?
Yes, I can. Is that me?
Well, I thought it was coming from you, but it happens every time I talk. But it's coming from your side.
It is.
Every time I hear the noise, your little thing moves.
Okay. Well, to be honest with you, I really need to go anyway.
Oh, that's fine, hon. I'm probably going to get off here too. I think something's up with my computer. That's why I was asking you if you could hear it.
Yeah.
I think my computer's maybe been messed with.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
That's not good.
No, it's
Well.
not. I want to thank you for coming on. Thank you for helping me out. Thank you for letting me bounce ideas off of you.
Oh, I enjoyed it so much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, everybody that came in the chat.
Yeah.
Thank you for your comments.
Mm-hmm.
And we love having you.
Yeah. All right, guys.
All right.
Have a good night.
All right. You too, sweetheart. Thank you. Bye, sweetie.
Bye.
Hey, guys. All right. I'm going to finish saying goodnight. And I hope you all do well tonight. Have a great night. It's my mic. Can y'all hear the noise now? Could you hear the noise before? Because see, I don't hear that noise now. You're welcome, Miss Kathy. Alicia, Corey, Sunset, Remain Calm, Charlie, Chatty Kathy, Robin's Egg. Yes, everybody, please remember to pray for the people in Texas. Everybody involved or affected by that. Everybody. All the EMS workers, the cops, the parents, the grandparents, aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, children, everyone, spouses. Say prayers for them all, guys. Thank you, Alicia. I appreciate it, hon. Don't forget to hug your own children. Tell them you love them. Tell them you thank God every night that you have them. Call your parents up. Tell them you love them. Spend about 5 minutes with them, just talking about nothing. Just let them know that you care. And I will see you guys tomorrow on a video. Have a great night, guys. Thank you for being here.